Good evening, everyone. In the last session, we have started our discussion related to VPC. Can anyone tell me what is VPC and what is the purpose of going for VPC? VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. Using this VPC, we can create isolated network for our projects in the AWS cloud. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. Using VPC, we can create isolated network for our projects in the AWS cloud. In order to work with VPC, we need to have the knowledge on the below topics: subnets, internet gateway, route table, NAT gateway, security groups, and network access control list, right? NACL. Subnet is nothing but partition of our large network. VPC is a large network. In that VPC, we are going to divide the network into smaller parts. That is called as subnet. That is called as subnet. Okay. Good. Fine. Next one. Internet gateway. Internet gateway is used to allow the outside people to access our VPC network. For that, we are going to use internet gateway. For every subnet, one route table will be available, which will tell how to route the request. NAT gateway, it will provide only one-way access. One-way access. No incoming, only outgoing network will be added for our subnets. Then security groups, if you want to enable the ports on the subnets, then you can go for security groups. Security group supports only allow, they don't support deny. In order to deny, then we are going for NACL. That is fine. We already discussed those topics in the previous session. Then after, in the last session, the very important thing that we discussed about VPC sizing. What is the meaning of VPC sizing? VPC sizing nothing but allocating IP addresses in our virtual private cloud. Now, guys, whenever we create VPC, we are going to take some IP addresses. Those IP addresses, we are not going to allocate all IP addresses. We will allocate few IP addresses and we are going to reserve few IP addresses for our future purpose. Okay. Now, VPC sizing means allocating IP addresses for our virtual cloud. For example, I have taken 100 IPs in the VPC. Now, 100 IPs in the VPC I have taken. Now I am going to do subnetting. Subnetting nothing but partitioning in the VPC. Do you think that out of 100, 50 IPs I will use for one subnet, remaining 50 IPs I will use for another subnet? Do you think that I will create two subnets with 100 IPs? No. If I create two subnets with 100 IPs, my IPs will be completed. In future, if I get any requirement, then I cannot do that requirement because I don't have IPC here. We don't allocate all the VPC IPs for the subnets. If we do VPC sizing like above, all my 100 IPs gets completed. So if I get some new requirement in future, I don't have IPs to launch my resources. To overcome this problem, we don't allocate all VPC IPs to the subnets. We will allocate few IPs to subnets and we will keep few IPs for our future purpose. This is called reserving IP addresses, keeping the IP addresses in the buffer for future purpose. Now, how we are going to do those IP addresses, guys? How we are going to calculate the IPs? What is the range of the IP? What is the CIDR block? Those things we need to understand. Now here, IP addresses are divided into two types, guys. IP addresses are divided into two types. What are those two types? One is IPv4, another one is IPv6. Currently, we are not using IPv6 here. We are using only IPv4. IPv4 IP address contains 4 parts. These are called as 4 octets. These 4 octets are separated by using dot. 4 octets are separated by using dot. Every octet contains 8 bits. So this IP address can contain how many bits here? Total 32 bits can be available. Here 8 bits, here 8 bits, here 8 bits, here 8 bits. So total 4 octets are available. Every octet can contain 8 bits. So total IPv4 range IP address can contain 32 bits. This IP address range will be calculated in the 2 power. IP address range will be calculated in the 2 power. Now, when we are creating a VPC, we are going to give cider block range as a /16. If we give IP range as a /16, how it is going to calculate? Total 32 bits will be available. 2 power 32 minus 16, it will give 2 power 16. 2 power 16 nothing but 65536 IPs we will get in VPC. 65,536 IP addresses we are going to get for our VPC if you give the IP range as a 16. In the last session, I think we discussed about the cider block ranges also. We discussed about cider block ranges also. If I give /13, if I give IP range as /16, for example, if I give IP range as /32, then what will happen? Sorry, if I give the IP range as /32, then what will happen, guys? Can you tell me? If I give it as /32, then what will happen? 2 power 32 minus 32, then it will become 2 power 0. 2 power 0 will become 1. 1 IP we will get. Can we create a VPC with 1 IP? Can we create a VPC with 1 IP? Is it sufficient? Is it sufficient? Is it sufficient? Can I create a VPC with 1 IP? Come on, guys. Can I create a VPC with 1 IP? It's not sufficient. Now, can I create a VPC? Can I create a VPC? Can I create a VPC with /31 range? 2 power 32 minus 31. That what will happen? 2 power 1. 2 power 1 means what is going to happen? 4 IPs we are going to get. 4 IPs we are going to get. Is it sufficient to get the 4 IPs for the VPC? Is it sufficient to create a VPC with the 4 IPs? It is not sufficient to create the VPC with the 4 IPs. Now, I'm going to take as 30. If I take it as 30, then what will happen? 2 power 32 minus 30. 2 power 32 minus 30 means what will happen? What will happen? 2 IP, 2 power 1, nothing but 2 IPs here. 2 power 32 minus 30. That means what will happen? 2 power 2. 2 power 2 means 2 into 2. Then what will happen? 4 IPs we are going to get. If I take the cider range as /29, then what will happen? If I take the range as /29, then what will happen? What will happen? What will happen? What will happen? If I take it as 29, 32 minus 29, then 2 power 3. 2 power 3 means 2 into 2 into 2. How many IPs we are going to get now? 8 IPs we are going to get. 8 IPs we will get for this. If I go with this, 2 power 28 /28 range, 2 power 32 minus 28. If I take like this, then what will happen? 2 power 4. 2 power 4 means how many IPs we are going to get? 16 IPs we are going to get. 16 IPs we are going to get. Now, if I go with the 2 power /24, 2 power /24 range, if I use it, what will happen? 32 minus 24. What it is? 32 minus 24. 2 power 8. 2 power 8 means how many IPs we are going to get? 256 IPs we are going to get. It is recommended to create IPs with the /24 range. Note, it is recommended to create IPs with range as /24 because it will give 256 IPs for us. 256 IPs are sufficient for you. 256 IPs are not sufficient for you. When you are creating a subnet, 256 IPs are sufficient or 256 IPs are not sufficient? Are you going to install 250 servers in the subnet? Are you going to install 250 servers in the subnet? 256 IPs are sufficient for us. 256 IPs are sufficient for us. And most of the thing, people are going to create the VPC. When we are creating the VPC, we will give the range as a /16. When you give the range as a /16, that means how many IPs it is going to provide for us. In the VPC, how many IPs we can use? 65,536 IPs we can use in the VPC. Okay, guys, let me tell you, when we are working with the VPC, people can create the VPC directly, but people will do the mistake while creating the subnets. Subnets nothing but partitioning in the VPC. Subnets nothing but partitioning in the VPC. When we are creating the VPC, people will not face any problem. But when we are creating the subnets, then people will face the problems. Let us see what is the problem that people are going to face. Here, we are going to create a VPC, guys. Let me create my VPC with 10.0.0.0/16. That means how many IPs we are getting? 65,536 IPs, nothing but we are going to use 0 to 65,535 IP addresses. Now, this is a VPC. In this VPC, I want to create one subnet, second subnet, subnet 1, subnet 2, I want to create, or 3 subnets I want to create. Let's assume that 3 subnets I want to create in my VPC. Now, so how many IPs we have? 65,535 IPs we have, 0 to 650. Now let me give you that. Here we have 0 to 65535 IPs we have. That is the range. That is the range. Can we divide all these IP addresses into 3 parts and allocate the IPs into 3 subnets? Let me call it as subnet 1. And this I am calling as subnet 2. This I am calling as subnet 3. Are you able to follow me? Are you able to follow me? So here I have created a subnet 1. Here I have created a subnet 2. Here I have created a subnet 3. So in this VPC, I'm creating 3 subnets, 3 networks I have created inside the VPC. Now, can I do a calculation? Total IP addresses divided by 3. Can I allocate those IP addresses to these 3 subnets equally? Can we partition the subnets? Can we partition the IP addresses into 3 subnets equally, or we should not do like that? Can we allocate the total IP addresses into 3 subnets equally? Can I divide them into 3 equal parts? Can we divide all the IP addresses into 3 equal parts? Recommended or not recommended? Recommended or not recommended? Come on, guys. Dividing all the IP addresses into 3 parts and allocate. Is it recommended or it is not recommended? It is not at all recommended. Not at all recommended. Why? If you allocate 3 IP addresses into 3 parts, then all the IP addresses will be completed. In future, if you want to create another subnet, you will not have the IPs. Never allocate all the IPs for all the subnets. Okay, now people will create the VPC happily by using /16, that is recommended. But people will face the problem while creating subnets with the IP ranges. Now see here, when I'm creating a subnet, I'm going to give like this 10.0.0.0. Can I give 16 like this? Can I give 16 like this? If I give it, what is the problem? If I give it, what is the problem? Come on, guys, please involve. This session is very important. If I'm giving 10.0.0.0/16 for subnet 1, then what is the problem? First subnet only taking all the IPs. All the IPs are allocated to first subnet. Then what about the subnet 2 and subnet 3? I cannot allocate. I cannot allocate the IPs for the subnet 2 and subnet 3 because my VPC having only 65,535 IPs, 0265535. Here I'm giving /16. All my IPs are completed. So is it recommended to give the IPs like this? It is not recommended to give the IPs like this. Then what I will give here? I will give /24. When I give /24, I mean how many IP addresses it is going to get now? When I give /24, how many IP addresses it is going to get now? 256 IPs I am allocating here. 256 IPs I am allocating here. Is it recommended way to create a subnet like this? Is this recommended way to create a subnet like this? Yes, it is recommended to create a subnet like this because out of 65,000 IP addresses, I'm creating a subnet with only 256 IPs. That is sufficient for me. That is sufficient for me. Very good. Now, let me go for another subnet. Can I create a subnet like this? 10.0.0.0.0/24. Can I create like this? Can I create like this? This is the problem most of the people will do. Here already you have used /24. Already you have used /24, right? Here, whenever you use /24 here, IP addresses will be same in the subnet 1 and subnet 2. IP overlapping will happen. IP overlapping will happen because which from where it is going to change the /24, nothing but how many IPs it is going to change? 256 IPs it is going to change. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 256. Here also 0 to 256. IP address here will be same or will be different? IP address here and IP address here will be same or not? 256 IP addresses will be same in the subnet 1 and subnet 2. This is IP overlapping. This is IP overlapping. Can you use the same IP for two servers? Can you use the same IP for two servers? No. Here what will happen? 10.0.0.1. Then here 0.0.1 up to 10.0.0.0.256 IPs will come here because we have given /24, or else 10.0.0.0 up to 255 IPs will come here. Here also same thing will come now. Here also same thing will come. So IPs are overlapping in the both subnets or not? IPs are overlapping in the both subnets or not? IPs are overlapping in the both subnets. So is this the recommended way to create a subnet with the CIDR block like this? This is not the way to create the subnets with the IP ranges. So what we need to do here is, instead of giving a /24, here I'm going to give 10.0.1.0/24. Now can you see octet position changed or not? Can you see octet position changed? Where I have changed my octet? Second octet I have changed. Now, will there be any overlapping on the IPs now? Will there be any overlapping in my IPs now? No. When I'm creating a third subnet, then how I will create the CIDR block? 10. Now I will change third octet 10.1. Like this I'm going to give here. 10.1.0.0/24. Now see, in the first position here, CIDR block 10.0.0.0, here 10.0.1.0, here 10.1.0.0. So IP addresses are going to change. IP addresses are going to change. So like this we need to divide your VPC into multiple subnets. Here, this will give 256 IPs. This will give 256 IPs. This will give 256 IPs. So total, how many IP addresses I'm using in my VPC now? Total, how many IP addresses I'm using in my VPC now? How many IPs? 256 into 3. Below 1000, almost 700 or 800, 750 IPs I'm using. But total, how many IPs I have? Total how many IPs I have? 65,000. So like this, whenever you are creating a VPC, you follow this standard so that you will not face the problem while creating the VPC and subnets. This giving the range for subnets, this is CIDR block, deciding the CIDR block for the VPC and deciding the CIDR block for the subnets is very, 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 very important thing, guys. Here we are giving 256 IPs. Here we are giving 256 IPs. Here we are giving 256 IPs. Total, my VPC is having 65535 IPs. Like this, you need to create the VPC. Like this, you need to create the VPC with the subnets. It's very, very important to understand how to create the VPC, how to allocate IPs for each subnet, how to allocate IPs for each subnet. Samjhe? You can give any number. You can give any number, not only one, you can give any number. You can give any number, but change the octet position. If you don't change the octet position, then IP overlapping will happen. If you don't change the octet position, then IP overlapping will happen. That's why I'm changing that octet position. I'm changing that octet position. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Are you clear with this point? Okay. Yeah, ranges, not only 10 means here, not only 10, you can give any range. Here I have given the 10 now. It's not a mandatory to start this range with the 10. You can give 20 also, that's not a problem. So here I have given the default range as a 10. I'm starting with the 10. It's not mandatory to start with the 10. You can start with any number. You can start with any number. Okay, fine. So with this, we understood what is VPC and what are the components involved in the VPC, what is VPC sizing, and how to give the VPC IPs, how to divide the IPs into multiple subnets. Okay, guys, here, when we want to create the EC2 instance, selecting the VPC is mandatory. We cannot create the EC2 instance without VPC. Let's check it here. Click on launch instance. Click on launch instance. Choose Amazon Linux. Select it. T2 micro. Configure instance details. Instance number of instances. Can you see what is this? Can you see what is this step available? Network. There is a VPC. See this. What is this network? Launch your instance into an Amazon virtual private cloud. You can create a VPC and select your own IP address range. Create subnets, configure route tables, and configure network gateways. Learn more about Amazon VPC. Now tell me, when you want to create a EC2, choosing the VPC is mandatory. Choosing the VPC is optional. When you want to launch the EC2 instance, choosing the VPC is mandatory, or choosing the VPC is optional, is mandatory. But as of now, we have launched so many instances without knowing about VPC. Why? To simplify AWS users' life, because some freshers are coming to use the AWS. Some people are using AWS for first time. For them, creating VPC, selecting IP range, creating subnets, creating internet gateway, creating routing table is the difficult job. So that's why to simplify instance launching, AWS provided one default VPC for everybody. AWS is providing one default VPC for everybody. Whenever we are creating an instance, we will choose that VPC as by default. That is a default VPC. So without knowing anything about the VPC also, people are able to launch the EC2. But in the real time, are you going to launch your instances on the default VPC, or you need to create your own VPC in the AWS? Are you going to use default VPC in the company also? Or you need to create our own VPC in the company? We need to create our own VPC in the company. Now tell me, is it mandatory? Is it mandatory to work with VPC to launch a instance? Yes, yes. Okay. Here, without selecting the VPC, we cannot create the EC2. But as of now, we are creating the instances by using default VPC. But from now, I don't want to go with the default VPC. I want to go with the custom VPC. I want to create my own VPC. In that VPC, I want to create my own subnets. In that VPC, I want to create my own subnets. Are you guys clear with this step? Now, observe. Let me tell you how to create a VPC now. Let's go here. Go to VPC. Go to VPC. There are two VPCs available. One VPC I have created. Let me delete this VPC for time being. Not required for this. Delete it. Now, guys, go to VPC dashboard. Currently, how many VPCs are available? Can you tell me currently how many VPCs are available? How many VPCs are available currently? One VPC available. How many subnets are available? 3 subnets available. How many routing tables available? 1 routing table available. How many internet gateways available? 1 internet gateway available. 1 internet gateway available. Okay, this is a default VPC. Go to this VPC. This is a VPC ID. How can you understand this VPC is a default VPC or custom VPC? Now, can you see default VPC, yes or no? Default VPC is yes or no? Default VPC is yes. Can you see CIDR block range? Are they starting with 10? Are they starting the CIDR block with 10? No. But what is the range of the CIDR block? What is the range of the CIDR block? /16. /16 means how many IPs are available in my VPC now? How many IPs are available in my VPC? 65536 IPs are available in my VPC. This is the default VPC. Go to subnets. Go to subnets. How many subnets are available? How many subnets are available? How many subnets are available? Total, there are 3 subnets available. Total, there are 3 subnets available. What is the CIDR range they have used? 172.31.16.0/20, 172.31/31.32.0/20, 172.31.0.0/ Are they giving same pattern for 2 subnets? They are not giving the same pattern for 2 subnets. In each subnet, how many IPs they have provided? In each IP, in each subnet, how many IPs they have provided? 4090 IPs they have provided. Octets are same or octets are different? Octets are different. Octets are different here. Octets are different here. Okay, fine. So here we have one VPC. In that VPC, we have 3 subnets. 3 subnets. 3 subnets are having same route table. 3 subnets are having same route table. No. 3 subnets are using same route table. Yes, they are using same route table. 3 subnets are available in the same availability zone. 3 subnets are available in the 3 availability zone. 3 subnets are available in the same availability zone. 3 subnets are available in the 3 different availability zones. 3 subnets are available in the different availability zone. That means for every availability zone, 1 subnet is available. For every availability zone, 1 subnet is available. That means in the Mumbai region, one default VPC available. That default VPC having 65,000 IP addresses. In that VPC, 3 subnets are available. Every subnet is having 4,000 IPs. That means the total they have used 12,000 IPs for the subnets. Remaining 50,000 IPs are available. You can use it. 50,000 IPs are available. You can use it for future. So this is default VPC, guys. This is the default VPC. Can we create our custom VPC now? Can we create a custom VPC? Can we create a custom VPC, custom subnet? Using the custom VPC and custom subnet, can we launch EC2 instance? Can we create a custom VPC? Can we create a custom VPC, custom subnet? With that custom VPC and custom subnet, can we launch one EC2 instance? And can we connect it to the EC2 instance? Yes, chalo. Let's start that work, guys. Let me create one VPC here. Observe very carefully. Your VPC. I have a default VPC, guys. I'm not changing that. Don't disturb the default VPC. Leave it as it is. Create your own VPC. Now, I want to create my own VPC only. Create the VPC as VPC demo VPC. I'm creating that VPC with a name called demo VPC. I'm choosing the first option only. VPC only. Subnets I will create later, guys. First I'm creating only VPC demo VPC. Cider block. Cider block. What is the cider block? Can I give anything here? Can I give anything here? /16. What is the meaning of /16? What is the meaning of /16? 65,000 IPs I'm going to get. No IPv6. I'm not going for IPv6. Tenancy is a default. Tenancy nothing but means, do you want a shared network in the VPC or you want a dedicated network in the VPC? Do you want a shared default network? Do you want a dedicated network? We want a shared network. If you go for dedicated network, bill will be generated. You have to pay the money for that. You have to pay the money for that if you go for dedicated tenancy. Tenancy nothing but how you want to use the network in the VPC. I want to go with the default network. I don't want to go for dedicated. If I go for dedicated, I have to pay the money. Key pair, name, demo VPC I'm giving. Demo VPC I'm giving. Click on create VPC. Wow. My VPC is created. Can you see this, guys? My VPC is created or not? Go to this. There are 2 VPCs available. One is default VPC. Yes. Another one is not the default VPC. Default VPC created by the AWS. Currently we are as of now, we used default. From now, we are going to use our custom VPC. My custom VPC is created. My custom VPC created. See the details. This is my VPC ID, CA5, tenancy default. It is not a default VPC, no. Cider block /16, DNS hostname disabled, DNS resolution enabled, route table is available, network ACL is also available. Okay, this is the owner ID who created that. Who created that? Cider block /16. Chalo, good, fine. So VPC got created, but do we have any subnets in the VPC? VPC created. Do we have any subnets in the VPC? We don't have a subnets in the VPC. What is the meaning of subnets? Creating the VPC, subnets nothing but dividing the network into logical units. Dividing the network into logical units. Now go to subnets. By default, there are 3 subnets available. What are these 3 subnets? What are these 3 subnets? Can I say these are default subnets? Yes. Default subnet, yes or no? These are the default subnets. Yes. Now create our own subnet. Create a subnet. Subnets we will create separately, or we will create a subnet inside the VPC. Subnets are we going to create separately, or subnets will create inside the VPC? Subnets will create inside the VPC. So select VPC ID. How many VPCs are available in my account now? 2. One is the default, another one is demo VPC. Select the demo VPC. Demo VPC CIDR range /16 65,000. Subnet 1. I'm creating my subnet. What I will say, public subnet. I will create my subnet 1, or else I will create like this, my subnet 1, my subnet availability zone 1, my subnet availability zone 1. I'm creating the subnet in 1A availability zone. CIDR block, can I give like this 10.0.0.0/16? Can I give the CIDR block like this? If I give the CIDR block like this, what is the problem? If I give the CIDR block like this, what is the problem? All IPs will be completed here only in the first subnet. Okay, I will give it as 24. I will give it as 24. My subnet availability zone 1. That means availability zone 1A. This is my subnet value 1A. My subnet name kahan hai bhai? 1A is my subnet zone. Availability zone 1A. Check the settings. Created a demo VPC with a /16 range. Subnet availability zone 1A. 1A is Asia specific Mumbai. 1A availability zone I have selected. /24 I have given as a range. Then I have created a subnet. Wow. One subnet got created. One subnet got created now. Go to this subnet. How many IP addresses we got? How many IP addresses we got? 256 we got, or 251 only we got? 256 we got, or 251 only we got? 251 only. What about the remaining 5? AWS reserving those 5 IP addresses in the subnet 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. AWS will not give you. AWS is reserving those IPs. That's why we got only 251 IP addresses for our subnet. 5 IP addresses AWS reserved. AWS will not provide you those five IP addresses like 0, 1, 2, 3. Those IP addresses AWS will not give you. AWS is going to reserve those IP addresses. That's why my subnet got only 251 IP addresses. It is available in availability zone 1A. It is available in availability zone 1A. Now see, route table is separate for the default. Default route table is not using for that. It is using its own route table. It is using its own route table. Fine, very good. Can I create one more subnet? Can I create one more subnet? Create a subnet, select VPC, select VPC. Now my subnet availability zone 1B. Availability zone 1B is the name. Preference 1B availability zone. CIDR block 10.0.0.0/24. Can I give /24? Can I give /24 here also? Can we try with the /24 now? Can we try with the /24 now? Click on create subnet. Arey Baba, what's happening? Is it allowing me to give the /24? Is it allowing me to create the /24 now? Why it is not allowing? Subnet 1 having the /24 range. Your subnet 2 also having the 24 range. Overlapping is happening. Overlapping is happening between subnet 1 and subnet 2. How can we resolve that overlapping? Can I change the octet? Can I change the octet now? Can I change the octet now? Come on, guys. Can I change the octet now? Yes, I have changed my octet. Click on create subnet. Okay. So now here I have created two subnets, 1A and 1B. In the 1B, here see 10.0.0./24, 10.0.1.0/24. Here 251 IPs are available. Here 251 IPs are available. Actually, /24 means we need to get the 256 IPs, but AWS reserving the 5 IP addresses. It is giving only 251 IP addresses when you go for /24. How many subnets I have created now? 2 subnets I have created. 2 subnets I have created inside one VPC. All right. All right. Samjha? Now, for this VPC, do we need to create an internet gateway or not? Do we need to create an internet gateway or not? What is the purpose of internet gateway? What is the purpose of internet gateway? To connect the VPC to the internet. If anybody want to access our VPC, our VPC should have a internet gateway. Now go to internet gateways. Do you have a default internet gateway? Do you have a default internet gateway? Yes, we have it. We can create our own thing. Demo VPC internet gateway. Demo VPC internet gateway. Click on internet gateway. Internet gateway created. Action. Attach to VPC. Internet gateway created. Do I need to attach internet gateway to the VPC or not? Yes, click on action. Attach to VPC. So what is the VPC available? Demo VPC. One internet gateway can be attached to one VPC. Default VPC already having an internet gateway. So there is only one VPC which doesn't have internet gateway. Select that VPC. Click on attach internet gateway. Very good. For my VPC, internet gateway is also attached. For my VPC, internet gateway is also attached. Now go to subnets. Subnets are available. 2 subnets I have created. Go to route tables. Yes, route tables are available. Can I say these are default route tables? Can I say these are default route tables? Are we going to use the default route tables or we'll create our own route tables? We'll create our own route tables. Route table 1. My route table 1. Select VPC, demo VPC, demo VPC. Click on create route table. For every subnet, we will create one route table. For every subnet, we'll create one route table. Okay, fine. Route table is available. Create my route table. This is the route table I have created for demo VPC. My route table 1. Open this. Open this route table. Here, subnet association. For this route table, did we associate any subnet? Not associated. This is the route subnet. Okay, let me create one more route table. Create route table, my route table 2. My route table 2. Select VPC, demo VPC, demo VPC. Click on create route table. Fine. Now, how many route tables are available? 2 route tables are available. Route table 1 available and route table 2 available. Okay. Go to this route table. Go to the route table. Edit routes. Edit routes. You can add the route source. Fine. You can add it internet gateway. This is the demo VPC internet gateway. To allow any traffic, I'm adding 0 to 0. Any destination can access this. Click on save changes. Click on save changes. I have added. Go to subnet association. Subnet association. Now, currently, is there any subnets which are associated here? Subnets are not associated. Edit subnet association. I am associating one first subnet to first route table. Save the association. First subnet associated to first route table. First subnet associated to first route table. Now go to second route table. Second route table. Routes available. Edit it. Add the route. Destination. Internet gateway. Select this. Click on save changes. Now, second route table, go to subnet association. No subnets are associated. Edit the subnet association. Select this second subnet, 1B subnet. Select the 1B subnet. One second. Select the 1B subnet. Save the association. Perfect. Two route tables are available. For the two route tables, two subnets are associated. See here, my route table 1. For this, I have associated subnet 1A. My route table 2, I have associated subnet 1B. Internet gateway, VPC created, subnets created, and two route tables created. Route tables are associated with the subnets. Internet gateway created, internet gateway associated with the VPC. With this, all the VPC setup is ready. Come on, guys. With this, all the VPC setup is ready. All the VPC setup is ready. Yes. Now, let me note down what I have done today. Creating VPC with subnets, internet gateways on route tables. Creating VPC with subnets, route tables, and internet gateways. Creating VPC with subnets, route tables, and internet gateways. So what I have created is, first one, create VPC, go to VPC dashboard, and create VPC. Cider block we are giving as 10.0.0.0/16. Okay. Once the VPC got created, create subnet 1 in AZ1A. Create subnet 1 in AZ1A. For this, what we have created, cider block 10.0.0.0/24. Create a subnet 1 under VPC. Create subnet 1 in availability zone 1A. This is the cider block range for subnet 1. Okay, subnet 1A in availability zone 1A. Then next step, under VPC, create subnet 2A in availability zone, subnet 1B, you can say that 1B in availability zone 1B. For this, what is the cider block I have given? Cider block I have given 10.0.1.0/24. Okay, now create two route tables. Route table 1 associate with subnet 1A. Route table 2 associate with subnet 1B. Next step, create internet gateway. Attach internet gateway to VPC. Are you clear with these steps now? Look at this, guys. This is what I have done so far. I have created a VPC. Go to VPC dashboard and create a VPC. For the VPC, I have given the cider block /16. That means 0265535. Here we will get 0265535 IPs. We will get 251 IPs. 5 IPs AWS will reserve. We will get 251 IPs, remaining 5 IPs AWS will reserve. Actual we should get 256, but AWS is giving only 251. Remaining 5 IP addresses AWS is keeping for their internal purpose. Create 2 route tables. Route table 1 associate with subnet 1A. Route table 2 associate with subnet 1B. Create internet gateway. Attach internet gateway to VPC. With this, are we able to set up our own VPC in the AWS? Are we able to set up our own VPC in the AWS now? Are we able to set up our own VPC in the AWS now? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, one more thing that we have done here in the route tables, I have added routes for all the traffic. For the routes, edit routes, add the destination here, target as internet gateway, destination can from anything. We need to add this step additional to access this route. To access this route, we need to add this. Edit routes, create route tables, associate with this. Edit each route table. Go to edit each route table. Where is that? Go to the route tables, go to routes, route table, go to route table, select route, edit route, allow, add the route to allow all the traffic. Add the route to allow all traffic. So here we are giving destination 0.0.0.0/0. Then target internet gateway, and the target is internet gateway. Destination is this, and the target is internet gateway. Go to route table, select route, edit route, add the route to allow all traffic, destination, and this. Do this for both route tables. Do this fifth step for both route tables. Do that step for both route tables. Create internet gateway and attach internet gateway to VPC. Samjha? All of you clear with what steps that I have done now? Creating a VPC with subnets, route tables, and internet gateway. Create VPC. Simple. Give this CIDR block. Under VPC, create subnet in one availability zone. For that subnet, I'm giving this CIDR range. We are getting 251 IPs. Remaining 5 IPs AWS will reserve. Under VPC, create subnet 1B in availability zone 1B. CIDR block, I have changed octet position. We will get 251 IPs. Remaining IPs, 5 IPs reserved by AWS. Fine. For every subnet, we need to create a route table. So create 2 route tables. For every subnet, we need route table. So create 2 route tables. As we have 2 subnets, we need to create 2 route tables. I have created 2 route tables. Route table 1 associate with subnet 1A. Route table 2 associate with the subnet 1B. We have to do this manually. Route tables we have to create, and we need to associate them with the subnets. Go to the route table, select route, edit route, add the route to allow all traffic. Destination is this one, target is internet gateway, select it and select target as internet gateway. Note, do this fifth step for both route tables, for both route tables. Once the route tables concept is completed, create internet gateway. Once this internet gateway is created, attach that internet gateway to the VPC. Attach internet gateway to the VPC. So with this, we are able to set up our own network in the AWS by using custom VPC. We are able to set up our own network in the AWS by creating custom VPC. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear with this? All the steps. Yes, we are clear with all these steps now. We are clear with all these steps now. Okay. We are clear with all these steps now. What is the next task? What is the next task now? Okay, fine. Now go to our EC2. Now go to our EC2 dashboard. Can we create one instance with our VPC? Can we create one instance with our VPC? Come on. Yes. Go to EC2 dashboard. Instances. Instances. Now launch instance. Launch instance. Choose AMI. Select it. Select it. T2.micro. Configure instance details. Earlier, we did not select VPC, but now, is it giving you two VPCs in the drop down? Network. Do we need to choose the default network or we need to choose our custom network? Do we need to choose the default network or we need to choose the custom network? Custom network. Wow. How many subnets are available here? How many subnets are available? Two subnets are available. So select subnet 1A. Subnet 1A. Create a subnet, subnet 1A. Okay. Auto assign public IP. Auto assign public IP. Enable. I want to enable public IP. Generally, it will not allow you. It generally with the subnet setting, it will not allow you, but I'm clicking on enable. Auto assign public IP. Auto assign public IP. Chalo, good. Next, add storage. Now remaining things are same. The only changes we will do here. I'm selecting a network demo VPC. I'm selecting my own subnet. I'm selecting my own subnet. Good. I'm enabling auto assign public IP concept. Click on add storage, 8 GB, add tags. You can add a tag here. Name, yes. EC2, Linux, VM, 1A, availability zone 1A, availability zone 1A, security group SSH by default 22, review and launch, click on launch, use the existing key pair, my Linux VM key pair, I have it already, launch instance, go to this. Now, can you check this EC2 now? Can you check this EC2? Let it create. It's creating now. It's creating. Okay, the instance is created now. The instance is created. Can you see the public DNS is generated or not? Public DNS is not generated. Go to your VPC, select the VPC, go to that VPC, open this VPC. DNS hostname option enabled or disabled in the VPC. DNS hostname option enabled or disabled in the VPC, it is disabled. That's why for our EC2 instance also the DNS name is not generated because the DNS name is disabled. The DNS name is disabled. That's why for our EC2 instance also DNS name is not generated. DNS name is not generated for that. Now, can I edit this DNS host name? Can I enable it? Can I enable it? Now I have enabled it. Now I have enabled it. Oh, is the DNS coming now? If I change that, is the DNS coming now? Yes or no? The DNS is coming now. Okay, fine, good. With this, we have created one EC2 instance using our custom VPC with one subnet available. With subnet available. Can I create one more EC2 with a different subnet now? Can I create one more EC2 with a different subnet? Can I create one more instance with a different subnet? Yes, we can create one more instance with a different subnet. Launch instance, select T2.micro, configure instance details. Now change VPC, demo VPC, subnet 1B. This time I am going for subnet 1B subnet. Second subnet I am using. Auto assign public IP, enable it. Auto assign public IP, enable it. Click on add storage, 8 GB default. Next, add tags, add the tag name. Key is the name, value is EC2 Linux VM availability zone 1B. EC2 Linux VM availability zone 1B. Security group SSH only. Review and launch. Click on launch. Same key pair I can use for multiple instances. My second EC2 instance is also launched. My second EC2 instance also launched. What is the difference between first EC2 instance and second EC2 instance now? What is the difference between first EC2 instance and second EC2 instance? Difference between first EC2 instance and second EC2 instance? Availability zones are different. Availability zones are different. Now, both EC2 instances are available in public subnets. They are available in the private subnets. EC2 instances are available in the public subnets or private subnets now. They are available in the public subnets. They are available in the public subnets. So anyone can access them. Anyone can access them with public subnets. Public subnet means what? Public subnet means what? Guys, what is the meaning of public subnet? What is the meaning of public subnet? What is the meaning of public subnet? It is outside, it is accessible outside of the VPC also. Internet connectivity is available for our subnet. Can we check it? Are we able to connect to our EC2 instances now? Can we check it? Are we able to connect to our EC2 instances? Select this instance which is running in the availability zone 1A. Click on connect. You can connect it from the putty. You can connect EC2 instance, connect browser-based SSH. Browser-based SSH. Click on connect. Yes. Are we able to connect? Amazon Linux now. See present working directory. Who am I? I'm EC2 user. ls-l. Nothing available. Touch 1a.txt. I have created a file. ls-l. I have created a file with a name called 1a.txt. Created a file called 1a.txt. Now, first EC2. Let's go to second EC2. Click on connect. Session instance connect. Click on connect. Click on connect. Yes. ls-l. No file available. Who am I? EC2 user. What is my present working directory? EC2 user. Okay. Touch 1b.txt. Touch 1b.txt. ls-l. 1b.txt file is created in this. 1b.txt file is created in this. Okay. Perfect. So with this, we have created EC2 instances in our VPC. In our VPC, they have a public access. They have a public access. Very good. Let me write the steps here. Attach internet gateway to VPC. Now, 8th step, create EC2 instance. Create EC2 instance 1 using custom VPC with subnet 1. With subnet 1A. Create EC2 instance 2. Create EC2 instance 2 using custom VPC with subnet 1B. With subnet 1B. EC2 instance 1 using VPC. Custom VPC with subnet 1A. Create EC2 instance 2 using custom VPC with subnet 1B. 1B. Now, when we are creating the EC2 instances, enable auto assign public IP. While creating EC2 instances, enable auto assign public IP. Auto assign public IP option. Where you can see this auto assign public IP option, where you are selecting the network. Create EC2 instance using custom VPC with subnet 1A. Select network VPC selection. Okay, network VPC selection. Here also network VPC selection, subnet selection, subnet 1B. Subnet 1B. Auto assign public IP, enable. Auto assign public IP, enable. Network VPC selection, subnet 1B, auto assign public IP, enable. Similarly, for this, sorry, it is 1A guys, subnet 1A. Now, create EC2 instance using custom VPC with a subnet 1B. Subnet 1B, auto assign public IP, enable. Auto assign public IP, enable. So with this, we are able to create our instances with custom VPC. Custom VPC. Clear? Are you guys clear with this? Okay. So to enable public DNS, just go to VPC, click on VPC. In this VPC, there is an action. Edit DNS hostname. You can enable and you can disable. Enable, disable. In the VPC, you can enable. Public VPC, go to VPC, actions, edit DNS hostname. There is enable, disable option. Got it? Got my point? So now, can you guys practice this? Can you guys practice this? Can you guys practice this VPC find? Once you guys practice this VPC, next one, we need to work on private subnets, NAT gateways. private subnets and NAT gateways. I don't want to allow the people to access my subnets directly. I want to go with the private subnets and all. We will discuss about that in the next session. But first, if you understand the basic subnetting concept and VPC creation and route table creation, how can we create the EC2 instances with our own VPC and our own subnets, then we can go with the next task. Next task is also already available for you, but this we will do the later point of time, guys. This we will do later point of time. How can we do all these steps now? That we will do in the later point of time. Okay. So can you practice this VPC creation and EC2 instances creation? Now, once it is done, connect to VPC, connect to EC2 instances and check connectivity. Connect to EC2 instances and check connectivity. Connect to EC2 instances and check connectivity. We should be able to connect or not. We should be able to connect or not. We should be able to connect it. Guys, don't delete it because it is a lot of lengthy process. Just after connecting, stop the EC2 instances. After testing, stop EC2 instances. Don't delete anything. Stop EC2 instances, because for a next session, I need all this VPC setup. For the next session that we are going to have, the next session, for the next session, I need this complete EC2 and VPC setup. I will show you how to access one subnet from another subnet with the private subnet, public subnet, private subnet concept we need to do now. For that concept, I need this VPC setup. So don't delete the setup. You do the practice. Once you are able to test it, you stop your EC2 instances. Now, I will go to my EC2 dashboard. What I will do, I am going to stop instance state stop. Just let me stop it. That's it. My instances will be stopped. My instances will be stopped. If you just stop the instances, that is sufficient. For VPC, you can keep the VPC as it is, no problem. You can keep the VPC as it is, no problem. You just stop it because for the next session, I need that. For the next session, I need that setup. Can you guys practice this before coming to Monday session? Can you guys practice this before coming to Monday session? Can you guys practice this VPC before coming to Monday session? SNS topic, CloudWatch, you just delete. No, there is no option of stop. You can delete it. You can delete it. Yeah, guys, sorry, tomorrow we have class. Sorry, yeah, tomorrow, Saturday, no? Tomorrow we have class. Yeah. Before coming to tomorrow, can you practice this VPC concept? Tomorrow we have class. Tomorrow we have class. I thought today is Saturday. No. Tomorrow we have a class. Tomorrow we'll work on this VPC setup. I will tell you how to work with the public subnets and private subnets. Okay. So please practice this VPC before coming to tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll work on VPC only, guys. VPC not yet completed. I will tell you how to connect from public subnet to private subnet by using a route table. All those things we have to practice. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in the tomorrow session. Bye-bye. Good night.